Hi, this is Matthias Sieber, and today I'm gonna show you how to build your own template tags in Django. And what makes me think I can talk about this topic? Well, I just had recently a project where we wanted to be able to display a system-wide message, basically on all of our subpages, and it should be noticeable. So it was more of a warning message or an alert if something didn't exactly perform the way it should have. In that case, we had to rely on third-party servers, and when the service of that third party isn't that great, we would like to display a message. So it's more of a warning or um, error message that'll pop right on every page, not like a JavaScript alert, but noticeable in a separate div container. So, and you can use, of course, in any other case, but this is what we're gonna build here, and I show you how it looks like eventually. I will build this from scratch since the project I was working on was for a company, and therefore the code is unfortunately now changed ownership, and so it's not my code anymore, but the company's code. So for this tutorial, I think um, well, it's with Python 3 and Django 1.6. You should be okay with Python 2.75, obviously, and or most likely, and Django version 1.5 should work too. Maybe even below that, but I'm not too sure about that. Read the documents, and later on I will make use of the Unix tool cowsay, and to make the message more noticeable. So these are going to be the basic steps to create this template tag and show you a use case. So we're going to go ahead and start from scratch, start with a project in the app. Then I'm going to create the model, register it in the admin, since that's the place where we will want to add this message that's going to be shown. Of course, sync the database. Then we will dive into creating the template tag. I'm going to show you how I create my templates and create a very tiny view. Um, that's probably not even class-based, just function-based view. Create the URL, and start the server, and then we go from there with improvement. So yeah, I started already in my virtual environment. Did some upgrades here, and we will go ahead and start with the project and just call it Django here. Oh, okay. Conflicts. Thank you. Of course, I should have known that. So I'll go with tutorial and tutorial. So the project name is tutorial, and then I will start the app. Just call it TT for template tag, and we will go ahead and create a model. I'm going to use Vim here, so that way I make sure that I don't forget to do the imports in Eclipse. Most of the times I just use the auto-completion, so it'll do the imports for me. So hopefully this works well. Okay, first we're gonna just create the message, which I call message of the day. And I should practice typing while talking. I'm a little slow here. MOTD. What am I doing? This is going to be a text field. And in the meta class, because it's going to be in the admin, I'm going to make sure that the verbose name will show up nice, as well as verbose name plural. It's still going to be message of the day in this case. Okay. As far as the representation, this the string. What it's gonna use? It's not gonna use message of the day. What is it? Object. It just should return the actual text in this message. Okay. All right. That's it for the model. So very straightforward. I'm gonna register this in the admin. So first I have to import my just created model. What did I call it? TT, I believe, yeah. Import, let's see if auto-completion works. Yes, nice. Just added this into VIN or Vim. Sweet. Okay, yeah, that's it for the admin. So just import a model and register it with the site. And now we go ahead and just create our template tag. For that, in the app folder, I will make a directory called Templatetags. CD in there, and I'm gonna create it's a new package double underscore init double underscore .py. I don't have to edit that file at all, it just has to be there. And I'm gonna call this motd.py, and this is where the fun begins. First, I'm gonna import my model, message of the day. Then first in the Django, there's a few ways to do this actually, and the Django documentation is good, but it can be quite overwhelming. So this is the solution I found for me that works really well. So this is going to be template tag library. This is motd.py, the name. And we're going to register that. And this is the actual custom template tag that I'm going to define. So the library is motd as well. And motd is going to be the used template tag. But it'll all make sense. And what I like to do sometimes is just write out in a docstring what this function, this method is supposed to do before I actually write the code. That way, many times the code gets more clear, and I can actually develop faster than. And you should document this anyway. Well, I should write tests before that too, but for demonstration purposes, and I want to keep this video not way longer than 30 minutes, so I'm gonna skip that. So yeah, so this method gets the last row in the message of the day model. And then if there's a message display in a div container, that's what we want to do. There's a message. Let's say it embeds it in a div container, and I'm sure you can probably write that nicer, but English is not my first language. And otherwise it returns an empty string without a div container, because we don't want this whole container to be displayed all the time. Okay, so let's get this message, and it's gonna be message of the day, of course, objects, and like we said before, it's just gonna be the last one. So if there is one, it's always gonna be the last one. So if there is a message, return it. And now a little bit HTML. I like to define a class right away. That way we can later on control the how it's going to be displayed in CSS file. Okay, and this is important. This has to be a string. Okay, did I close everything? Yeah. Okay. So if there's a last object, then it's going to be embedded in the div container with the class motd, and otherwise it just returns an empty string. Not none, because that might be displayed. I had that happen. Might have been, I think it was with cowsay, but you'll see. And then I have to register the template tag, and we're gonna use simple tag for that. Again, you can look it up in the Django documentation, but this is a pretty straightforward way of writing a template tag. Okay, so next we will actually wanna create templates. Oops. I could have selected yes here. And in this templates folder, I'm gonna create a subdirectory TT again. So later on, if you wanna use that app somewhere else, for example, it's gonna be better structure-wise, but it's better explained in the actual tutorial on djangoproject.com. First, I'm gonna create the base HTML. So make it HTML5. Set the language to English. What else? Yeah, usually you're gonna set the charset to UTF, and also embed a style sheet here. I'm gonna do that later. So what I like to do, however, is enter a block here, call it title, and that way if I define a title in another template, it extends the basic title here. It doesn't override it, so that's neat in my book. I think that's it for the head. Did I miss anything? No JavaScript, no jQuery, anything like that. Thank God. I don't really have to practice typing here. Okay, so now the body, I like to insert a header with a standard navigation, and I'm just gonna include a index URL here just for the heck of it. Call it index. This is going to be the next template that we're going to creating, where the actual content will be. Not too much of content yet. Anyway, call it home. Let's add the admin channel. There it is. Admin colon index, if I'm not mistaken. Call it admin login. Close this. Should be it for the header. Yep. Okay, next is the actual article, the content. And what we're going to do first here is, since the whole purpose of this template tag is that it'll show the warning or the message or whatever it is, we're going to load this first. So what we are going to do here is load the template tag, the template tag library, which is motd.py. So we're just gonna go ahead with load motd, and then we insert our custom template tag, which is also motd, which is the function, and it's it. Okay. Next, I like to create a content block here. that's going to be used in the next index template we're going to create. Close the article. Just for the heck of it, a footer, but this is going to be empty. Oh. What? Okay, sorry about that. New scheme. Okay, that's it for the base HTML. So this is going to be the starting point. And I will probably modify this later on. Right now we're just gonna go ahead and extend the base HTML in this index HTML. And this is gonna be pretty short. So we're gonna go at the title, what I said earlier. Just call it index, so it's gonna say Django templateg tutorial :space index. And this block. Then we need some content. Should call it block content. And this is where some magic happens. Not really. Magic usually doesn't happen in template, but whatever. Okay. I think we're almost done. Let's see. Oh, I didn't create a database. Who cares? I'm gonna do that just before I'm gonna start the server. So next we're gonna create a view and the URL pattern. Okay, so I'm gonna go back and create a view. And this is gonna be our index view. Like I said, nothing special here. Just call render because we're lazy and give it the index.html. Usually I pass a dictionary which will be used in the template, but since there's nothing to pass in here, I'm just gonna load the template tag anyway and query the message of the day, objects. There's really nothing here. Okay, next the URLs, and for that I could write that in the urls.py in the project folder, which would be tutorial slash urls.py, but I like to have an own urls .py in my app folder. So let's go ahead, import what we need, import patterns and URL, I believe. And there are a few ways to import the views of our app. I'm just gonna go ahead and from tt import views. I could go ahead and say from tt.views import and then index, for example, but I'm okay with this form. Okay, next, not a complex URL pattern. Okay, and this is gonna be our root. And like I said, views and then index. I'm gonna give it a name, index. Close this, and should be it. Yeah, looks good. Okay. Oh, of course I have to include this URLs or this app in the tutorial settings first, and I installed apps. So it just, yep, it was the right row. Just gonna include the app in our installed app section here, and we're gonna include the just created tt.urls. Okay, that should be it. I like to make my manage.py executable. So let's sync the database. It's gonna ask me to create a super user. I'm gonna do that. So I type in yes, no email address, test. Okay. So looks good. No errors. The moment of truth. Let's run the server. No errors here. And let's go ahead. Okay, no module name, Django, confu. Oh, it was .urls, I believe. So, yeah, this is one of the times where like a full-blown IDE like Eclipse comes in handy. Let's see, any more errors? Name pattern. Was it patterns? I think it was patterns. Oops, what did I do? Okay. Okay, what did I not do? Ah, smart. So, of course, it's patterns, not pattern, but it's still improperly configured. Yeah, sorry about that. Apparently, I have to read up a little bit on my UL patterns. Okay, let's see what's the mistake here. Oh, again, UL patterns. Okay, I should have learned it by the after the first message. Alright, I will remember for the next tutorial. Okay, invalid block tag extend. And here again, it has to be, I know what it is. I'm not good apparently with plurals today because it's extends. So let's correct this error. So it doesn't have to be extend, but extends. Because it's extending, oops, this whole thing. Okay. Alright, hopefully now, hopefully now. Oh, yeah, parse error here. I put a semicolon here. If you follow this in HD, you probably have seen that. So it was in the base. there we are. All right, cool. So there's no message here. Just it's loading our index HTML template. So let's go ahead and hold on. Why isn't there the admin channel? What did I do wrong? It's early in the morning here. I apologize. Oh. Yeah, this wouldn't validate. So of course I have to close all this. And this new color scheme of Vim should have given it away for me. There we are. Okay, so now we got our navigation. And let's log into our admin panel here. And for TT here, you see message of the day. And I'm just gonna add some fortune. Get this, paste it there. Okay, so this is safe, and this message should show up, and it does. So what's not nice about this? Of course, it's not formatted with CSS by any means. But before we go to that, I would like to show you how to use cowsay. And cowsay is a command line tool, and does things like this. So if I enter cowsay test, this cow here will say test. And there are a few different cows and options you can play with. So usually in user share cows, you have a lot of templates basically. And if you pass one of those file names without the extensions with the parameter f, let's say eyes, you have a nice pair of eyes and saying whatever it is, what you want to say. So this will make for a good announcement. And we will go ahead and modify our template tag for that. And actually, we go back into our template tags and our template library, and we will add some functionality here. So I'm gonna call the new method mootd, mootd, and it's gonna grab the last message of the day anyway, so I might as well go ahead and create a new function for this. And what should I call it? Get last object. Yeah, just get last motd. And so I'm gonna pass that here. Okay. So for our new message of the day, I'm just gonna use a double O here. We gonna write a little bit of text here. So again, gets the last row and message of the day model. If there is a message that runs it through cowsay, and the result will be also embedded in a div container. It's actually going to be the same div container, and otherwise it returns an empty string. For some reason, apparently I don't like S's today. Okay. So let's go ahead and again get the last message of the day. And this time, gonna make it in a string right away. And we will go ahead and since we were running a basically a shell, there are a couple of ways to do that, and a safe way to use it actually is through the pipes. So we will need to use from subprocess. We need a pipe and popen. The actual Python standard library, the documentation there helped me a lot. It was a lot of reading, so I'll just call this P1. And, oh, there it is. Yeah, I was hoping there was some help text here. I think the arguments were actually in a list. It was user bin cowsay. Then, and we have to separate basically the white spaces as and make elements in a list. And I'm gonna pass kitty. Yeah, doesn't really matter. Go ahead with a small cow. And the last element of this list is gonna be the message, the mood. Okay. Set our standard out to pipe. That's it for that. Okay, in this pipe we have to read. Basically like a buffer. And we will go ahead and p close. Doesn't help. Great. I think it was close. Just like a file object. Okay. Okay. Now, see the difference here? It has to do with none and how do you explain that? Well, we check first if if there's a message of the day model, if there's something in the database, okay, and this is what this is for. But in order to actually work with the last message, it's gonna be a string. Does it make sense? Okay. So same thing as before. I should probably make this a little bit less redundant. We gotta encode this. And then coding is gonna be UTF-8. Was it underscore dash? I think that's it. Okay. Oh, I almost forgot. Since this is a since we don't since we want to keep white spaces and all that stuff, we're just gonna use the HTML pre. And I think that should be it. Okay, otherwise return an empty string again. We're almost done. Now we have to register this new simple tag. And that's it. Okay, let's run the server first. See if everything is still working. One second. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so apparently I did something wrong. Again, it's not my day. I apologize, but I learned through my mistakes. So apparently something happened when I... oh yeah, I didn't return it. Ha 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 ha. So I put a... I mean, the method getLast MOTD is getting called, but it doesn't return anything, so smart move. All right. Okay, there it is. Good. So now we will actually want to use a new template tag. And for that, I just go in the templates and the base. And so the library load MOTD is still the same. Just going to be a different template tag. Instead MOTD, it's going to be MOOTD. Let's see if it works. Since it's a template, it should be actually loaded. And there's our little cow. Nice, isn't it? Okay. But let's say I want to do something else, because there's something I noticed, that let's say you want to use the IDEs I showed you earlier. And let's say we want to use cowthink. So just, it's going to be like in a thinking bubble, not in a speech bubble. Cowthink. And it's going to be the eyes. Okay, so restart it. Okay, what you can see here is after this dot here, the eyes kind of get cut off. And when I had it originally, I thought I had CSS in place already. So I was wondering, hey, maybe since this is all a little bit bigger, and maybe something, maybe my dimensions were off. So I looked into the source code, because here it's there. And actually, this is nice. This Chromium version gives you a display here. So it gets cut off here, and the symbol here. So it's basically the start of, like, here's going to be HTML tag or whatever. So we have to replace this with the actual HTML code. And so the rest of the I will be printed out. And there's an easy way to do that. So we can really string everything together here. And just go ahead and oops. No. And a simple replace should do it. So old is gonna be this character, new It's gonna be LT, and that should do it in this case. There's probably a nicer way to do things like that in with HTML and IDEs or something like that, but yeah, this works. Great, we're almost done. Yeah, we did piping through cowsay actually already. Now I just want to create a quick CSS to make this really stand out more, because we gave it already a class. And for that, I have to go back once more into our templates first. And since we will be using CSS, I have to obviously put them in the head here, but I will also have to load static files. Okay. So let's see. No. Okay. What is going on with my keyboard control today? All right. So we link to a style sheet we will create, and it's going to be CSS, obviously. It's going to be located and static, and then TT again, and CSS, and I just call it base CSS. So this is going to be a style sheet that's going to be loaded all the time, and sometimes let's see if a user is logged in or authenticated, or you belong to a certain group, or you have certain permissions. I like to load some extra style sheets on top of that, but it's just me. Okay, don't forget this time. So now I will create the actual static files, and TT static, again TT, oh, static, TT, one more, CSS, okay. CSS, and now we can create a base CSS, MTD, we make it, let's say 800 pixels. We will give it a little bit of padding. We define a font size. Yeah, why not go with 20, see how that goes. We make it bold. I like to give it a font family like monospace. I hope it's installed on this one. You give it a background color, yeah, more like this. We give maybe if I would work with different layers, and I would just want to make sure, you know, this might overlap something for some reason. Give it a very high Z index. I give it a border. What else? A border color. Just make it red. And double border lines. Okay, I think that's it. Yes, sweet, isn't it? Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it for the tutorial. And just to show you again, if there's no message of the day present, then it's not going to show. And actually, if you look into the source code, there is no div motd here anymore. Okay, and that's it for now. And I leave it like that. Okay, so please comment. This tutorial got a little bit more lengthier than expected due to my mistakes, but I learned from them. I hope you learned from them as well. And if you have a better way of doing things, or I think especially the piping part I didn't explain in detail, feel free to comment on this. I might eventually write a blog post about this, go more into detail, and link it in the video description. Otherwise, yeah, like I said, please feel free to share your thoughts on this, and I will maybe make some annotations if it's something especially useful and related to the video. So please go ahead and share your thoughts on that, and yeah, have a nice day, and hope you will enjoy building your own template tags. You've seen me doing it, so I'm sure you are pretty confident that you can do it as well. So that was kind of my goal with it. There's a lot of things you can do with Django, and custom template tags will come in handy for your own projects eventually. So that's it for now. Bye.